This is the Hardball Gets AFL show. My name's Nick Rinn, joined by Xavier Ellis and Ryan Daniels. Gents, what's happening?
Oh, there's a lot happening. I'm filling in for Xavier this week.
Breakfast
he's
radio.
Still his normal breakfast radio show on Triple M, and he's taking time off, so in comes the B squad.
What? Holidays? Your family's not here, are they?
No, they're back last night.
Okay.
Last night they're back.
This is the old, they've gone away for a few days.
They went
I'll
for
take
10,
leave.
well, they go for 10 days to Broome, I think.
Jeez.
Shit.
If you don't reckon our man gave it a bit of a shake on the weekend.
Oh.
He gave it a shake. Group message came through the Twitter Triple M call team, where we've got our own WhatsApp group, and Zave sends a message through and just says, if this bacon and egg roll doesn't do the job, I'm going to be struggling. that tells me that a Saturday night was significant. And also by the fact that you've still got chili sauce on your chin.
No, I did spew yesterday. I'll put my hand up. I did spew. Tough situation to find myself in. So I had two things on Saturday.
Yep.
One kicked off at 12 p.m.
Okay.
So early.
Good early session.
Early Scarborough
Good.
Sporty.
Feeling good about that one.
So I left
hard
there.
these days.
I left there at 6.
Oh, Jesus.
Now 6 hours at the Sporty.
You're not in a good state.
You're probably a schooner every half hour.
Yeah.
So there's 12 in the valley. Then I had a poker night from 7. And I got home at about 1:30.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was my issue.
You would have been a hot mess.
Oh, no, it was bad yesterday.
That's a 13-hour stretch.
Tipping you didn't do too well at poker.
No, I had to buy back in twice, and I still finished. Now, funnily enough, the guy who won overall knocked him out twice. And then he came back and won again. So
kept coming back.
Yeah, and then he knocked me out, and that was it.
Jeez.
But then you hang around, and I bought two little 6-packs. I was like, well, I may as well stay around and have a couple more beers.
Just watch. Some comments from the
Add a
cheap
bit
seats.
of commentary.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was bad. But
You seem all right today.
no, I'm good as gold today.
Yeah.
Good as gold today. Jumped up, went for a run, went for a cycle.
There's no, in my mind, at the age when you start advancing past your mid-30s and into your early 40s, there's nothing better than the sleep the day after the hangover
The
sleep.
kids got home yesterday,
Yeah,
so
if
there
you
was
get
no
it,
that's tough.
I couldn't check out.
That's
They're like,
tough.
hey, you've been away for 9 nights. I'm off to bed, so I had to brave it.
Yeah, you just had to
Had to be
push
a dad,
through.
believe it or not.
Jesus.
But Broome good. So
That's tough.
and I said on air the other day, actually, if any male or female wants to have a little dance with me, $2.40 for the hour. I'm a male gigolo now to pay for it.
The Broome trip.
I'll shag anyone and anything.
240.
$2.40 the hour. You won't get the full hour, but
So 240s for anything.
well, $2.40 we're at the table. Oh, Broome.
Pretty cheap. Unlike Broome.
No, there's extras.
There's add-ons, yeah.
There's the add-ons.
And then there's a membership.
Goodness
Monthly
me.
recurring.
I'll tell you what, Broome is an expensive part of the world.
Your family seems to go there a lot without you.
Yeah, no
Are
shit.
you concerned that Em maybe has a second family up in Broome?
No, they go up
Can they
every.
foot the bill?
They go up every year with Em's parents
Right.
and Em's brothers up there with wife and 2 kids.
They live up there.
And no,
Yep.
no spare rooms there?
No.
Well, what's going on?
That's a good. Dan listens to this actually. Dan, you owe me $5,000. Why didn't you pay for? Why didn't you put them up for a night?
a swag in the
They
backyard?
absolutely love it, but it just. And also to save costs, you go the week before school holidays.
Yeah.
Because
That's a
you
good
don't
shout.
want the school holiday injection. So there you go.
Okay.
I've had a week to myself, and everyone thinks you go on a bender for a week.
No,
No,
you
kids,
sleep.
this is
Yeah,
sick.
no.
My alarm's still going off at 4 a.m. to go to work.
Yeah, true.
Like, I've still got to half keep it reasonable,
Yeah,
but
that's true.
I'm refreshed.
Good. No, I'm
This is
happy
good.
for you.
He's back
Happy
into the
for you.
season. He's back on his feet.
I am back on my feet. I'm back on my feet. But and the only issue is it's giving me time to look at some footy stuff. So I've actually got notes today.
Wow.
jeez,
what are
yeah.
they? What are they on today? What's on the other side of those notes? Oh, these
No,
are
no.
actual just fresh pieces of
Fresh
paper.
pieces of paper.
Wow.
I did pick
paper.
them up off the floor though, so I don't know what the boys are doing with them. I just grabbed them off the floor. But yeah, I'm ready to rumble. Like I am pumped to be here.
Yeah, you sent through the suggestion of what to talk about. And
I know
everything.
he's
So what's going
More
okay.
energy on the WhatsApp group morning than anything he's ever put forward before.
Yeah.
The buys, do we like the current buy structure?
No.
Oh, you did it.
I did a poll, right? So the
X-poll.
poll was, do you like the current AFL buy structure? Very simple. There was a yes and there was a no. Can you tell me what you think the percentage of no's were?
91%.
Yeah, I was saying that.
4,148 votes.
So was it just a yes or no? Two
Just
options?
a yes or a no.
96.
It was 94%.
There you go.
Yeah.
Who's
I don't know
the
where
other
the
6%?
I don't know where's the
Yeah.
6% coming from.
That was Gillan McDaniels.
Dylan McDylan.
What's his
Dylan
name?
McDylan.
What's his name?
Andrew Dillon.
There you go. Okay.
Gee,
Yeah,
you almost threw me off there. For some reason, I always think it's Dylan.
It's Dylan McDillon. It's Dylan McDillon and his 8,000 burner as a cat. Yes.
So are we against just having a week off footy?
That's what I want. I want a week off footy.
Or just go straight down the middle, bang, bang.
No, but you can structure it in a way that you do it off the Monday, it's the Monday game for King's birthday. Do it there.
Oh, so
and then you
so
have
another
days. Like there's less days gap.
And then catch the Thursday on the other
but
side.
then
play a Thursday,
Friday, Saturday night, under-18 championships or something. It's the same time, right time of year.
Precisely.
Give them a bit of
they're
oxygen.
playing anyway.
Yeah.
So let's just do it at like
instead of
around
11 a.m. at Cardinia Park.
So I just want to put it on the record. I couldn't care less about the 18s. I'm not going to sit down and watch it on a week
No,
off.
but
some people will.
You're not, but some people, if they did an All-Star game or something, you might.
Number 22 for either Vic Metro or Vic Country. I'm putting my chips all in on that kid.
Was that
I think it was Metro.
Jagger?
What do you mean, which team?
No, well, they were playing South Australia 2 weeks ago at
Oh.
Optus. At not Optus here, the old Optus in Perth,
Carlton.
in Carlton.
Oh.
Mate, this number 22. Oh,
But you're
beautiful
not sure which
left
team.
foot. I think it was Metro.
Which one
Imagine
I
was?
think it was Metro.
Imagine if both the 22s are listening, like Vic Country and Vic Metro
man, same
22
us.
are both just like, maybe it's me.
No, I even like.
He knows the draft.
I,
He's
sent,
the top 5
I
pick.
did send to a few people my opinion on 22.
Yeah.
But I did state he could be the clear number 1 selection. I don't know. So it's like I could be talking about Harley Reid of this year.
I need to know now.
Yeah,
I need to know who the number 22 is. You do that. Nick.
Was it Jagger Smith? Did he play again yesterday? Because they played the
He doesn't
curtain
know.
raiser.
I was dead yesterday.
Oh, true.
I even watched I was saying on the Triple M call, I felt that guilty and bad yesterday. Before I left to drive for the footy, I went and had a shower and shampooed and conditioned the hair. Just tried to wash
the full
just
clean.
wash all my sins away.
I do that. If I've had a really bad hangover, the shower when you do the full, the full run through.
The full one down.
You give it everything.
I do that after a bad cold or something too. Like you're like, I'm just going to convince my body that I'm well. I'm fresh.
Yeah. Flush
I'm
it all out.
clean.
Flush it all
When
out.
you have a cold, do you drink heaps of water? This could be really weird. Then do you go to the toilet and
it out.
and you go see a germs?
Yeah, I do that. Yeah,
On your bike.
the flush out.
Shower germs.
Yeah.
And the other thing I do, and this is also weird, and we'll get to footy in a second, if I decide to get out of bed to go to the toilet at any stage,
I hate that.
I have to, if I count in my head as I'm having a wee, and if it's longer than 10 seconds, I say, no, right decision. But if it's less than 10 seconds, I'm like, shit, I probably should have stayed in bed. So I count to 10, like 1, 2.
It wasn't worth it.
And then almost applaud myself if I get to 10 that I've made a good decision to get
One
up.
of my
How are you ever
favourite.
peeing less than 10?
No, sometimes.
Sometimes
you're
it's
like,
just a quick, like
when you
know,
go to bed,
yeah.
and you
Tricks
go,
your brain.
oh, gee whiz,
should I get one in now?
Yeah, I'm
If
not
it's-
that comfortable. Maybe I'll just get rid of the last of it. Like, it probably wasn't worth it.
Yeah,
My
correct.
favourite story of someone trying to get rid of a cold was Jordan McArdle, former West Journo, now running media for Perth Wildcats. Thought he had a bit of a flu. Thought, I'll whack this out with a real spicy laxer. Took it, then discovered it was actually gastro.
Oh,
no.
Wasn't a pleasant experience for him.
Doubled down on the...
He's gone the spice. All right, we got an order this week, so we'll do it again. Have a quick guess.
So you're going to do the
So
order?
I'll shout the names and then we come in with the... Oh, what are we doing, Dave? We've got an extra little bit.
Oh,
of
yeah,
just your usual chew the fat, but with 6 teams on the bye. Just one player from each team that we're talking about.
One individual.
Yeah, one.
It could be a coach.
Okay,
okay.
Okay, one individual.
Oh, I didn't get that.
That's, for example...
In the spotlight.
Maybe facing retirement, maybe facing being delisted, maybe facing a trade.
Or-
it might
or-
explode to the next level.
I was going to say, or it could be a potential like, hey, this person could win the Brownlow. Let's keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
Is this person going to go to the next level? It can be anything. It's a wide-ranging
in the
topic.
spotlight.
In
All
the
right.
spotlight.
Well, let's kick it off with Collingwood.
That's me. I'm just trying to find number 22. I've even got highlights of him. Hey, Collingwood.
Who is he?
I'm trying to find it. I'm going to find it in a minute. Collingwood Footy Club. How many games they lost in their last 10?
I would say
3?
2.
They've lost 1 in their last 10. 2 draws
Wait,
in there.
can you tell me, is it
2
Metro
draws.
or Country? What colour's the jumper?
That's country.
Okay.
Yeah, it's country.
Country, number 22.
Okay, so then
Shout out to this.
their injury list, Collingwood. So this is why I'm really, really, really high on Collingwood going into finals.
Okay.
Of course, they get the home grand final and all that sort of hoo-ha.
Must be nice.
Listen to the names that they've still got to come in. Some obviously won't come in, but the importance of the way Collingwood play. DeGoey, Elliott, Pendles,
Yeah.
McStay, I think, plays. Myercheck.
Yep.
Does Tom Mitchell come back in?
Well, he's nice to have.
Cox, they seem to
Archery.
play.
Is he a tall fella? Archer Reed.
And
No, he's already on the Eagles list.
Oh, yeah.
just hang on. And then Richards. Do we like Richards?
I like Richards. Yeah, a bit of spunk there.
Okay, so do they all come in is the question. The player I want to highlight is Jordan De Goey. But the one thing that I'm looking at compared to Sydney, who are the benchmark at the moment, Sydney are averaging 69 points a game against.
Dinner for two.
It's the old-fashioned dinner for two. Collingwood are at 83 points against.
That's pretty good.
Well, that's two and a half goals gap between the best, so that needs to get better.
Well, Freo's second best, I think.
That needs to get better for Collingwood. I think if you're over 80, they need to get that below 80.
Yep.
But that is why I think that Collingwood, Sydney are going to be the grand finalists, and I think it's going to be a genuine flip of the coin.
So who's under the spotlight?
De Goey. He's going to be the one that comes in. I think we're all sleeping on Jordan De Goey.
Right. So
I don't think we realise how big an out he is at the moment.
So De Goey takes them from middle of the road finals team to premiership.
I think he's the one who's going to come back, and I reckon they're playing it pretty safe and pretty smart, knowing that they've won.
They're right there, the Pies.
Right there.
They're right there.
How with that injury list they've
I don't
won?
know.
Nah, 9 of their last 10. Nick, I'll find it, mate. You don't even know what you're looking for.
Yeah, I know. He's
All
lost
over
some
it.
So there's a clear one, Sydney, and then there's a
By the
Carlton.
end of the season, it'll be a clear 2.
you reckon?
You reckon?
Okay.
2.5.
Who's
Quite
next?
sale. Next up is Adelaide. That's me. So I'm going the play. Did you do the player in the spotlight?
He did De
Jordan
Goey.
De
Yeah.
Goey. Jordan De Goey.
So the player in the spotlight for me, and I mentioned him last week, is the big thriller. Thilthorpe. He's about 2 weeks from coming back.
He's doubled down on the thriller.
Thriller.
Well, everyone else is kind of like on board of the rest. Rankine playing All Australian, but the other ones are on the brink.
How bad's the state of Adelaide South Australian football? At
It's
the
not
moment?
going too flash.
Like, what about they were spraying the two
awful.
sides in the media the other day, Adelaide and
Yeah.
Port, and then someone chimed in the call or in the chat and said, "Well, you may as well put their bloody cricket team in as well. They're the
good.
shittest of all time. Like their state of sport is deplorable."
Yeah, it's not going too flash. Lukosius is probably back in about 2 weeks.
Precocious.
Not Lukosius, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Jeez, Nick's had a
Thilthorpe,
tough
going
start.
right here.
Maybe you shouldn't have looked for the players.
It's
that
thrown
were
him-
It's just rattled me.
It's
I can't
thrown
You
find
don't
it.
have the ability to do it.
Why
You're
is it not an easy,
One-
this is the
Nick,
squad, these are the numbers?
One thing at a time
I
for
know.
you. We've discussed this. All
You
right?
really gotta
no
boil it down.
multitasking.
Mate, it's too much going on in my brain.
what happens-
Constantly thinking.
I don't think that's the issue.
Constantly thinking, you know.
What happens at the end of the year at Adelaide? In all seriousness, there's going to be changes.
But you can't,
They've been copying it big time for
pump 'em
being
all
a,
out.
which is always the case when heat comes on.
I would have
It's the boys' club.
Yeah,
Always.
The boys'
Every club.
It's always a boys' club. Yeah. I would say the one that I would have put under the pump would be one of the spotlight is Taylor Walker, because Adelaide have a tough decision here. You've got an ageing forward who has not produced much this year. He
But he
clearly
can.
wants to play on, clearly. And you're starting to see those stories
Well, that's
filter through the media now.
kind of
like
why I
other
had
clubs.
Thilthorpe in there, because if he's not showing enough to boot that
Yeah.
they're comfortable saying Taylor Walker can leave, well
Well, I
then you've got
don't-
more of an issue.
Do you think that they can, after this year, can keep Taylor Walker, or do they have to move on? Does it
Well,
have
you
to? Do they
can't.
have to
No, I think you can. Who's
don't-
coming? Yeah,
Well, you've got Fogarty and you've got Thriller.
How old is Taylor
Those
Walker?
those two need to own the forward line now.
yeah,
like-
but I don't think they're ready. I think
Tex
you need
must
What do you
be
mean
doing
not
that.
ready, mate? Fogarty's close to retirement. He's
Well,
been
you
around
know,
forever.
yeah, well, I don't think he's ever going to be at the
Tex
level where
must
he
be
can.
35. He'd have to be.
He's 34, just turned 34.
There you go.
So
Oh,
you'd
Yeah.
be 35. I think you get another. You're rolling for another.
But
for
doing
another
what?
Year. Well, that Thilthorpe's coming off a knee.
No, this is your chance. This
Yeah,
is
I
your
don't-
chance now.
I think
I think they
Tex
got other
needs to
ones.
come home like a freight train to.
He's going to have to.
I think they've got other issues elsewhere in the ground that they need to worry about before that.
Mm.
Next up is Essendon. I think that's me.
Am I gonna get a team at
as
some point?
well. Darcy Parish.
He's stolen this off the questions.
Have I?
He would have.
Oh, I didn't actually see the questions.
Oh, shit, okay.
No, we'd always talk about Darcy Parish.
Yeah.
He's probably the most. You can talk about Stringer and new. Has he got a new deal yet? No, because he kicked
nah.
5, so definitely not.
Yeah.
No. Mate, Stringer, though, as we were saying yesterday, is there a more of a showstopper than Jake Stringer in the comp 5 times a year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think, 3 to 5 times a year he can look like the best player in the
Yeah.
comp. He-
100%.
He can destroy a team.
Yeah.
And it's always, we discussed this, it's always at Marvel, the roof's closed. It's one of those random Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon. It's never
He's
prime
just the
time.
best player in the
It's just
competition.
randomly you're like, Stringer, it's
He
having
is
one of
like-
those games.
And was it the Anzac Day one? That goal from impossible angle, and the
Yeah.
camera lined up behind him, and in
Yeah.
your head you're like, he'll kick.
Yeah,
this.
and
Like,
it's
and
the
it
most
just-
beautiful kick you've
Yeah.
seen.
And it's not even always a whole game. Like, it's often just a quarter and a half. Like, he did that,
you need-
what, he kicked 3 in the second quarter yesterday?
had 4 at half
Four
time,
at half time. And
Yeah.
you're like, he could go on and kick 8 here, but he was never going
I
to.
still reckon the contract I'm offering him is the smartest contract.
Every year.
$1 million a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
It's expiring.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are you going to do?
No, 1 million a year, and if you reach the threshold
You
of
get another one.
45 goals or
Yep.
whatever it is,
Yep, you
we'll
get
give you another
one.
million.
Yep,
Yeah.
we'll just keep rolling this over
Yeah, until you fall over.
until you drop off.
Until you say, I'm no longer contract stringer.
I love that. I just love
Good
that.
1
He's
years.
the perfect person for that. You know, like, I know that's not what he would want. Because if you
Yeah.
were him, you'd take the 750
Over 5.
over 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
rather
Over
than-
5.
Over 5, mate. Someone will do it.
No
There's
one's
stupid
given,
clubs
no
out
one's
there.
given Jake
Adelaide.
5.
I reckon we might just turn you off for a minute, mate. to be
He's-
honest.
Take
Give
it,
him 5.
Nick. I hope you don't have the
How
next
old
team
is he?
because you need a timeout.
How old is Stringer?
It's Jake Stringer. This is your team. All you've said so far
Last
is
question.
He said
Darcy Parish.
He said Darcy Parish.
Yeah,
And
well, I
then-
just
and
said
we haven't
Darcy Parish.
spoken
We're
about
talking
Darcy
about one
Parish.
person coming in. Like, how does he fit back into this? Because they're kind of humming, but kind of not.
He's 30.
Yeah.
He's 35.
Um,
There you go. 35.
No, Darcy Parish, I would be
Just makes
concerned,
me feel
especially
old.
this year. Injured, came back, injury
Well,
again.
he's now the third banana.
But it was finding his way and then injured again.
He's
So it's the
clearly
tough
number
thing.
3 now because it's Merritt and Durham.
Durham,
And
yeah.
then you go.
100%.
Who's
Durham
up?
was mid-season. 8 players picked for Durham in a mid-season
He's,
draft.
he's the best player from any mid-season draft.
He's got
Yeah,
past
there
Newcombe.
was-
Yeah, way past.
Yeah.
Way past all of them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
I had the
those
list
are
of
the
Durham,
key two.
Newcombe, and D'Ambrosio.
Nick,
Marley and Pickett.
are you extending?
No,
Nick?
no, I don't
okay,
wanna
just
extend.
go on to your next thing.
Carlton.
That's me finally.
He's up.
Okay, it's going to be Michael Voss for me. And you might say, well, that's not fair. He's got him sitting second on the ladder. He took him to the finals last year. But here is the point where
Did
we
they prelim last year? It was a prelim
Yeah, they
at Brisbane?
prelim, and they were up
Kicked
5
the first
goals.
4, yeah.
Now, they sit second on the ladder. From here on out, we get to figure out if Michael Voss can coach or not.
Yeah.
Because he's got the star power. They get him through most of the games. Sometimes they look a little shaky. But if they're going to win a flag,
Yeah.
it's because of the tactical coach. It's the coaching. Because they're going to come up against Sydney, who are bloody good. They're going to come up against Collingwood, who are rolling. They're going to come up against some other good teams, even in the first couple of finals. If Michael Voss is a really good coach, which I'm still not 100% sure about,
Win the flag.
they're in the seat there to do
Yeah.
it. Or at the very least, make it granny, take it all the way up to Sydney. If it's a close grand final, lose by a kick.
Or you lose
whatever.
by a goal in a prelim
Correct.
or something.
But
in a-
they
in a
can't not
killer.
show up from here. It's all set up for them.
So
right?
what's the pass mark for Vossi? It has to be prelim.
Has to be
minimum prelim?
A good performance in a prelim.
A prelim that we're talking about 6 months from now going,
Gee, they were
geez, Carlton
close.
are unlucky.
Yeah,
Geez,
yeah,
Yeah, Hawthorn, Geelong sort of
and the grand
prelims.
final was a fizzer. I think we saw the best 2 teams in the pre. That's what we need to see.
Yeah.
We need to see
Yeah.
undoubted, they absolutely nailed their season. I think they're at the point now where their list is so good and the players they have are so talented that no matter who's coaching them, they're going to be able to be doing this.
Yeah.
But
no,
to win it-
Well, I think that's where coaching gets a bit overrated. You're like,
It does at times.
it's just autopilot.
Can they win it if he can't coach? And
Yeah.
I shouldn't say can't coach, if he's not an elite
Yeah,
coach.
of course you can.
Yeah.
Yep.
Charlie Kernow could kick 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the day, it can still happen.
I think, yeah, absolutely.
I think he's the one.
I think the good teams, the coaches do less and
Because
less.
if they, let's just say it goes the other way, and Carlton finish second, and then they go out in straight sets, I'll tell you who the pressure's going to be on.
Who is anyone half hoping that happens?
No, I mean,
Just a little bit.
Carlton fans.
Yeah.
G'day, Dan.
Port Adelaide.
That's me as well, I think. I hate to go 2 coaches in a row, but these 2, this one I can't avoid.
Yeah.
It's Ken Hinkley. He
Yeah.
got booed as he came off. They're clearly under the microscope. I could have thrown in a few players too. Charlie Dixon. I think this is it, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
This is it for
Yeah.
Charlie. Advanced Soldo getting dropped. This was his chance, right, to be the number 1 guy, and he gets dropped.
He looked
So-
like it for a few weeks.
He's
So-
off in the 2s.
We sat there at the
Didn't
start.
play yesterday, I think, because he had a knee issue.
Yeah. We sat there at the start of the year with Port.
Yep.
And we said they've filled, and I think we all said they've filled the spots that need to be filled.
Yeah.
Radigalia, Zerk Thatcher,
Yep.
Soldo, Sweet.
Yep.
And then you look at it now and go, well, Radigalia was playing 2s for
Yeah.
best part of his career at Geelong.
Yeah.
And then was a forward, then ended up back.
Yep.
Zerk Thatcher, the only memory over him at Essendon was when Hawk kicked 8 on him.
Yep.
He was hardly a star.
Yeah.
They've upgraded up to Mackay.
Yeah.
Then you go, Soldo was in and out of the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the second
mostly out.
Yep.
Sweet was out.
Yeah.
So they've literally just topped up with
Second tier guys.
They
second
tried,
tier
they
guys.
tried to do a
upper
Sydney.
end second tier
Yeah.
guys.
They
I
tried
wouldn't
to
say
do a
upper
Sydney
end.
and make
Upper
them
end
into better
second tier.
players, but it just
Like
hasn't
I'm
worked.
talking like VFL players.
Oh,
like,
second. So I
yeah.
thought you meant like A grade tier and then
No,
next tier.
No.
They're fourth tier, fourth if you go in the terms.
The
of
other one
top
is
step.
Jason Horne-Francis, who has had patches this year where he's looked really good. He needs to lift.
Yeah.
He needs to
What's
go
this,
to
his
another level.
third year?
Third? Yeah.
I feel like
Third. I just feel like there's so many underachievers at Port. Take out Butters, who's a star. That guy is a star. Take out him. There are a lot of underperformers.
Yeah.
Tell me one other person that is playing at their best possible.
Well,
level.
I've got a sheet of paper here, and can we just extend on Port, which will naturally happen?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was sitting with someone the other day, and they are Port. We find they've got the big three. The big three.
Rosie, Butters, Horn Francis.
Horn Francis. Every football club has a big three in the midfield. And I just took some players down here. And tell me which big three you would rather.
Okay, go. Over Rosie, Butters.
So Hornet, Rosie, Butters. Would you rather Warner, Heaney, Goulden?
No, Sydney. Yeah.
Would you rather Cripps, Walsh, and then maybe Hewitt or someone like I'd throw in?
I'd probably go Port over them.
It's close.
If you can't figure out the third bloke, that's an indication.
I'm taking Walsh and Cripps above the two.
But that's a big two.
But I'm just saying, like, so the two at
that
Carlton
one's close.
are good. Yeah,
That one's
close.
close.
Degoe, Dacos, and Crisp at the moment's their best midfielder.
Collingwood.
Yep. Sarong, Young, Brayshaw.
Probably Collingwood. I mean, probably Freo just.
Yep. Josh Kelly, Tom Green, and Steve Canelio, or whoever you want to put in there.
Tom's in there. Give me Tom.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that one's close.
Lockie
too.
Neal, Dunks, McCluggage. Well, we
Yeah.
saw on the weekend.
Look, some of these are close, but I think you've made your point. Every team has one.
Bont, Trelaw, Libba.
Yep.
Yeah,
Go down to West Coast, who won the Wooden Spoon last year. Yo, Kelly, and Harley Reid.
There's not the gap, whether or not they're slightly ahead or slightly below, the gap isn't
They're
massive.
not the big three.
No.
They're just three midfielders.
They're just three guys. Yeah, it's a big two maybe.
But then if you go big two, well, they're not. I'm not taking them in front of DeGoey, Cripps. I'm not taking them in front of Cripps
do you
and
know
Walsh
what though?
or any of them.
As much as all this heat's on, I'm not surprised by this at all.
Yeah, you're
It's
not a
just
Port
Port,
man.
yeah.
Port,
Yeah.
they're not that good. They're just not that good.
Yeah,
okay?
you're onto them. I must admit,
they
I've
beat
been
teams
sucked
that are
in.
well below them on the ladder. They lose to the good teams. Every now and then they'll have a game where you go, hey, maybe
Yeah.
Port's the real deal, like they did against Geelong. And then you realise they're not the real deal. They're fine. Port are just fine.
They might be fine enough to pinch one occasionally, but it won't be by plan.
Yeah.
No,
It'll
but
just happen.
would you say, like, you dive into their forwards, are you confident in Marshall and Georgiades?
No, they're not there
No.
yet.
No.
Yep.
But when are they going to get there?
I don't
Well,
know.
how old's Marshall?
They might
It wouldn't
not.
surprise me
Yeah.
if Marshall was who was that 23 at Hawthorn?
Mitch
Tim
Lewis.
O'Brien. Think about Tim O'Brien. Yeah, it
Was
would
Mitch Lewis
surprise you.
23 for a while?
No, he still is.
No, he's two.
No, he's 2, yeah.
Oh, Kaczynski.
23.
He's 23. Was it
Yeah, that
Kaczynski?
might have been.
Yeah, it would not shock me if Marshall was 32 or
Um,
22.
He could be one of those guys
I
that
never-
gets to
you
that point.
don't know.
Yeah, he could be. Yeah.
Well, what is he now?
No, he's like 25.
25.
How confident are you in that answer?
I'm not 100% confident. I mean, you can
Todd
tell.
Marshall is
25, 26?
Yeah, shit. He's turning 26 in a couple of
So
months.
he's 25. He's 25.
like, but you think he's like
Yeah, but
young,
like
but he's
21
not.
and running
Yeah.
around. That's the version you got to get at 26.
You might get it slightly better, but not.
Jeez, it would want to happen pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. no.
Yeah.
I have grave concerns.
Yeah, I did.
Actually, you know what? I don't have grave concerns. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this is not a surprise.
And what about Suk, just quickly, the chat of the succession plan with
Josh Carr.
Josh
yeah,
Carr.
Yeah.
Now that's starting to come through. I got a couple of messages. A tweet I was tagged in saying, why are we doing a succession of someone that's been there? Why wouldn't we
Yeah.
start at Chris Scott
Yeah.
and just see if we can land Chris Scott? If we can't land Chris Scott,
Well-
who knows?
Well, Josh Carr might be the guy, but go through the process.
you have to go through the process.
Go through the process. You can't just hand the keys over and go, you've been waiting.
Yeah.
Here you go. Appreciate it.
Have a
Josh
crack.
Carr might be the best candidate, and there are people who have really high raps on Josh Carr. We've done Port for
Yeah.
way too long.
No, I just wanted the big three pissed me
Yeah,
off.
no, gotcha.
Alright.
Pissed
Big
me
three.
off.
Okay, let's wind it up.
It's like a
Michelle.
big three.
Do a siren for us, Michelle. There we go.
Let's switch over.
See, that's how we know we've gone too long. Michelle's texting.
She's,
We've lost
she's
Michelle.
zoned out. Richmond.
I wonder if that's me. It is. Jeez, I've had a run
It's
now.
bad luck.
Yeah, it is bad luck, but there's a few under the spotlight.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Dusty is one of them. Where's he going to play?
Well, what about
Sydney,
the speculation
Gold Coast,
too?
Richmond, nowhere.
He didn't turn up to training. Didn't turn up. Didn't train when everyone returned.
Isn't that because everybody over 30 doesn't really train?
No, I think that was about. And then they go, but there was 3 or 4 that didn't come back. And you're like, well, that's the story. Is that he obviously had time off.
And they just added that in the last
Yeah.
line. Yeah. There was also 4.
Read the byline. Yeah.
So Dusty's the one that I suppose everyone will be keeping an eye on. I want to put the onus on a couple more guys. Rioli's interesting because there's some chatter about
Gold Coast.
Dimmer.
Gold Coast
Yeah.
and reuniting with Dimmer. Tom Lynch will be 32 at the end of this year. His
Busted up.
body continuously
Is he
breaks down.
contracted to
He's
next
got
year?
1 year left.
I think that's probably it.
Yeah, and I would even consider if I'm Richmond just having a conversation and saying,
I'd keep him. It's so hard to have a forward.
Yeah.
He's not ever out. He's never
No,
out.
no,
the park.
I get it.
But
But
you're
if
going to have
he is,
the money's there. Like, he's
he
already
takes,
taken
he
up
takes
space.
the importance of someone who can take the best defender. Like you get fed to the who's going to take their best defender if he's not playing.
I guess that's the truth. You got to have somebody.
You got to have
Take the
someone
hits.
who can go. Oh shit! I'll
Just
I
take the
might
hits.
leak out 40 goals for the
Yeah.
year, but I've also played on Steve May, Wiedering, Tom Barras. You've done them all, and let someone else blossom.
What about Dion Prestia? If you were,
He has to, and he has to. I think mentally for himself. I went through it, obviously not at Dion Prestia's level. The mental side of doing injuries early in games, over and over. You're letting your team. You feel this. You personally, you're letting your team down. You're letting yourself down. You're mad. It just keeps feeding itself. I think there's no option but Prestia to just tap on the shoulder. You can't keep getting
retire
subbed out in early
or
games.
go to a new club.
I
And
think it's like for his own good.
his body doesn't seem to want to play.
No, not at all.
Like he obviously wants to, and when he's up and going, he's a really good player.
No, he is.
But yeah, Richmond's a watch. They're going to be. It's going to be a pretty gross end to the season for Richmond.
Yeah.
Remember their over under was 9.5.
Prestia's 32.
I think that's already done, isn't it? Like
Yeah, oh, mate.
they'd have to win every game from here, just about.
Yeah, they can't get there.
It's remarkable.
How many games? There's more games than you think left. I was still
Yeah.
Sydney,
Is that me as well?
maybe.
No, I got Sydney.
Jeez, this be hard.
I got Sydney. Hey, I was just doing a little column about Fremantle's midfielders and how they need to. Fremantle's
'Cause
forward
they're playing
line.
Sydney this week.
Yeah, Fremantle forward line is, I think, a bit of a mess.
Uh-huh.
And to get more goals,
Apart
their,
from Kahuna, the
their
big
midfielders need to contribute more. They hadn't contributed.
Yep.
Brayshaw, Sarong, and Young kicked 8 goals between them for
Yep.
the year.
For the game.
No, for the whole season.
Yeah, for the year.
leading
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
the
leading
game.
into this weekend.
Okay,
So
because
they
Young kicked 3.
They kicked 5 on the weekend.
5 on the weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was 8 up to the weekend. Heaney, Chad, and Goulden.
Hold on, let me
It'd be
guess.
coming towards 50, wouldn't it? And Chad's kicked like 24 or 25 himself.
Yeah, I would say it's 43.
55.
Jesus.
They have kicked 55 goals
Be
between
better than
them.
8.
That is an incredible
And
stat.
I think I saw somewhere Errol's leading the league in assists.
Yeah,
as
he
well.
would be. He would be. He is staggering. He's only kicked 10. So I think Chad's 24,
Yep.
21 to Heaney, and then 10 to Goulden, who I just saw 55 goals from a midfield trio.
Unbelievable.
And it's not like they're coming out of full forward. Like, don't get me wrong, they're going forward, but a lot of midfielders are going forward.
Just on that, Selby, your man,
Yeah.
Herrera's Magic, he put up a poll, 2,500 votes. You can
Oh.
only have one.
Yeah.
Errol, Chad, or Heaney.
Oh, probably Errol.
I voted. You know who I voted
I think
for.
we all voted the
Yeah.
same.
Well, 64% Errol.
Yeah.
I think I said this last week and you all jumped all over me. No, you'd rather have the Chad. Hey, mate, Errol is...
Well, the Chad's the only one getting attention. He's being tagged and tagged.
yeah, plus we're
Whereas,
here...
mate, imagine if Chad could just run around.
Mate, Errol gets plenty of attention.
No,
eh?
he
You
does
wanna know?
not.
He gets lots.
He gets zero attention. Zero. He's third in line on the
Don't
attention.
you speak
No, I
ill
love
of
him.
Errol.
Anyways, but the player of interest for mine, I just
By
thought
the
that
way,
was,
Chad was last on 13%.
yeah, but I thought that
Oh,
was
probably going over
interesting. The 55 goals. I thought it was
Very
staggering.
interesting.
The player, Luke Parker, I know he's suspended from the VFL. He's 32 years old in October. I just think if Sydney go on to do something, I reckon he is not finishing up, but I wouldn't mind seeing him at like a North Melbourne or
So
something.
if he doesn't get back in the team, we're
You're
looking at a
looking at
Taylor Adams sort
yeah,
of
there's
vibe.
nothing worse than being in a club that's won a
Yeah.
flag.
Hey, geez, he'd be a good pickup for anyone.
I just reckon 32,
He's
big
tough,
body,
good
let
bloke.
LDU do his thing, you
Yeah.
hunt. So
Geez,
Luke
he'd be-
Parker.
Oh, it'd be
there
would be a queue of teams.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
take
we're
a
all
Luke
cheering
Parker.
for him to get back
Yeah.
inside,
we all love
aren't we?
Luke Parker. Yeah.
Hawthorn.
I've got Hawthorn. No excuses for the Hawks. Here we go. No excuse. I went through their injury
Finals.
list.
They're playing well.
But that's what I'm saying. They're playing so well at the moment. Injury free. Mitch Lewis was in the 2, so he can't be too far away. Must nearly be this week, I'd imagine, because they had the bye
Yeah, they had the bye.
in the 2s last week as well. So he didn't play. So he played bye.
Right.
I think he will be an inclusion to come over and play against West Coast. They've got where is it? 1 second. Injury list clean. Mitch Lewis. The player I'm putting in the spotlight that I think's really, really important. That it might sound so stupid. It's the Wizard.
Oh, your man.
It's the Wizard.
Yeah.
He's kicked 5 goals, 15 for the
Yeah.
season.
Yep.
And what would you say? 6 or 7 out in the fulls. Didn't
Yeah, yeah,
scores.
Touched on the line.
Tackled as he was
Couple
about
of
to
free
kick
kicks
him,
against.
all that sort of
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
If he can flip that and finish with 25 goals, so he comes home and kicks 20 in the remaining games, It's funny that can be a difference in Hawthorn, who are bubbling around. They're one game off sixth place. So they're bubbling. They're 20, but on fire.
Fix that percentage.
I just reckon if the Wizard can pop up and provide the option that they didn't have, Mitch Lewis obviously as well with Marbs.
Yep.
I just think I'm excited by the Hawks.
I do like Nick Watson, and I think if they're going to play
he's only played
finals,
7 games or 8 games, whatever it is, but I just think now he's almost got a key to the importance of it.
If they're going to make finals, it sounds silly, but they need to come over to Perth and thump West Coast.
Yeah.
Because their percentage is 92. They're miles behind everyone else.
Yeah.
They have to make up like 7 or 8 percentage points minimum just to get
win
in.
every game, and then it doesn't really matter.
Nah, because they're so tight, you're going to need that percentage. So they need to come over here and touch up West Coast. I don't know if West Coast can be touched up on their home deck anymore. They don't seem to get,
I think they can.
but it hasn't really happened this year. They don't get flogged here.
That's true.
When they go away, sometimes it gets a bit away from
bit dirty, yeah.
But here, they've steadied. So
is Harley back this week?
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's about like
and
top
Tim
of the
Kelly should be
rankings.
back.
It's like the league pass, like the fun game ranks this week.
It's right
the
up there.
Hawthorn kids and
Yeah.
Harley's on
I'm
the
not
other
calling
side.
for Triple M. I'm spewing. I'm not calling that game because it's on a Sunday. So
Yeah.
Tommy and Locke. Yeah, it's all right.
Dropped.
gonna-
West Coast.
It's not dropped.
Playing twos.
I've got West Coast. Scored 92 points on the weekend. They actually won the inside 50 battle against Essendon.
Yeah.
Only by 2. I think it was 56, 54 or something. I actually thought that Essendon defended horribly, like turnovers, zip back.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Essendon had the
I'm
right
concerned about the 4 talls. On the Essendon right fixture, I've got 4 teams that can win the flag. Collingwood, Carlton, Sydney, and at a stretch,
It's not Essendon.
Brisbane.
I was going to
Yeah.
say.
No,
Hawthorn.
Essendon play three of those 4 down the stretch.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to get a bit tougher for them.
Yep.
Won the inside 50s. Jack Darling, number 2 on the games list now at West Coast.
Dean Cox yesterday.
They owe him to get him to a 300. They're in the stage
So
where
he needs another 9.
9 or something
And
like
there's
that.
9 more games.
That's an awkward number to try and get him through when he's not going fantastic.
No, I get
There's
that.
exactly 9 games left.
But he's now
Yeah.
fallen off the. He's now third with big Oscar
Allen and
back
Jake.
and Waterman,
And Jake.
and then the resting ruckman. Is it one of those ones where you get into 300, you've done the right thing by a club champ,
Yep.
and then at the end of the year you have that conversation?
Well, he's got another year.
Yeah, I know that, but you've still got to have the conversations.
Yeah, look, I guess it depends how he finishes the year.
Yeah.
If he can find that role he has now, which is the 3rd tall,
Yeah.
with also
So the only thing
ruckman
is, third
down
tall is
there.
actually creating a 4th tall.
Well, it is. That's the
Yeah.
problem
Which is
because
the
the 3rd
issue.
tall is really Bailey Williams if you want a resting ruckman.
Yeah.
So if he can find a way to make that role his own, I don't know how because he's always been a good tackler when he needs to be. So
Yeah.
if he can provide forward line pressure, maybe that's the way to keep him in
But
there.
this
But is it for West Coast just the run of never having 300 game players?
Don't
Bunga's
want
the
to
only
get him
one.
there.
How important is it to get another one to 300?
It's nice for the club when they get there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he'd have to play every single game from here. But he's got a contract next year.
Yeah, I know.
So if he gets to 295 and they say, look, you got to spend a couple of weeks in the waffle.
Yeah, but I'd
league,
say he's going to be further off next year.
Yeah, but you
playing.
can get him the
Yeah.
games. There's no one who's forcing him out. Like,
Yeah.
you could
Well,
give
no,
him
it's
the
the
games.
structure.
It's the structure.
The
You're playing
structure.
4 talls
Because
now.
they
Yeah, no,
were
that's what I mean. You
Mate,
could
they were-
drop him at the moment and then give him the games next year to 300.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but then you're not really developing your side, are you?
Oh, he's
Well,
next.
there's no one's forcing him out. Brisbane.
I've got Brisbane. Ring.
Oh, no.
1300 tag for
Oh,
a
it's
day.
the tag hotline.
Hey, Zave here. Who am I speaking to?
Where's the terms and conditions?
Kenny, is it? Kenny Hinkley.
Ah,
Oh, Ken, no, you got Brisbane this week, do you? Right. You're going to go head-to-head. We got the big 3. Yeah, shit. Ken, I think you're mad. I don't think that's going to work because there's a guy in the midfield that's won 2 Brownlows that, funnily enough, like we've got some real clear evidence on how he goes when he's tagged. Round 13, he had 38 disposals, 2 goals, 10 clearances, and ranked 134 points on the ground.
geez, that's good.
Then the following week, he only had 20 possessions, 0 of anything, and had 70 ranking points when he was tagged. There's a clear difference there, Ken. I think we've got to lock him down.
Yep.
No, let's let Lockie Neal have 37 and 10 clearances again.
So
Hey-
why did he ring the hotline if he wasn't going to listen? That's what I don't
Well,
understand.
unbelievable. We didn't ring. He should have bloody
Waste
rung.
of $4.95 a minute.
Waste of time. Mate, imagine what Lockie Neal thinks. He's wandering out. He's just had Windhager. He's walking to a centre bounce. He's casting his eye over.
Where's Willem?
I'll give you the hot tip. He's not standing alone singing the
No.
song. He's trying to work out where old Willem Drew is.
Yeah.
Oh, Willem Drew finds himself out on a wing on McCluggage.
Yeah.
He's a nice player, but Sorry. He's certainly not Lockie Neal.
Yeah.
Lockie Neal just ripped him a newie again. Before you know it, the horse had absolutely bolted.
Oh, yeah,
so then they couldn't do anything.
No, and Lockie put the cue in the rack, I reckon, in the last term.
37 and 10 clearances.
Could have had
And you
50.
know how I got him in the Brownlow last year?
Yeah.
The correlation of 30 and 10 clearances, 2 of the last 3, 10 clearances, 30 disposals. He's going to make a late charge for the
Could Lockie
Brownlow
win a
again.
third Brownlow?
He's going to make a late charge, I can tell you that much.
Unless somebody locks him down.
Unless they lock him down, but it just makes it all messy and make it messy. Don't let Brisbane not have a messy. Yeah, if Dunkley slaughters you, that's Dunkley stiff. And the player I'm highlighting is pretty maligned at times. Just ask me, old man. Hipwood.
Had a good fortnight.
He went 6-2-5. I think he's done. Eric Hipwood, I think, might have the keys if he can get going in this momentum in that forward line. Forget about Joe. It's the big hippie.
They're both playing really well at the moment. They're both
good to
playing
watch.
Well.
Yeah,
it's fun.
because it was Hipwood's week 3 weeks ago, Joe's week last week,
And then Hipwood again.
and then Hipwood's
Geez,
back.
they've got an interesting forward line, don't they? Loman in there, Bailey, Cameron.
Can Brisbane? I know we say it every week, and I wrote in the paper tomorrow. At a stretch, the 4th is Brisbane. Now I have to include them.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Geelong. So that's me. A person of interest, obviously, and he's very close to home in this podcast, Tom Hawkins.
Now, hold on.
Have you got Geelong?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you don't. No, Zave has Geelong, doesn't he?
I've got Geelong.
Do you? Oh,
Let's clear this up.
let's have a look.
What do you got? Well, you roll with yours if you got it.
No,
I gave Geelong twice.
You are, honestly.
GWS, that's meant to be. Carry on, Zave.
You gave
no.
Geelong twice.
No, he didn't.
No,
He didn't.
I wrote in my notebook
Ah.
a different thing to what I wrote in the
All right,
text.
current form Geelong. Right now, current form Geelong.
Mm-hmm.
How many players have they got in the top 100 in the competition? Top 100. I've got
Cameron.
Jeremy Cameron.
on current form. Jeremy Cameron's in the top 100.
Yeah. Come on. Yes.
Oh, we said 3 bad weeks. Okay, whatever. Like he's still a top 100.
I got one.
Grind.
I got one.
Holmes. I think Grind Myers has been pretty good.
Grind last year had
100's a lot.
Yeah, Grind last year had 41 goal assists. He's up to 14.
Really?
Grind's going okay, but not at what he was doing best.
I think that's probably more the result of
Yeah, but
the
that- but
firepower up
How
forward.
many goals has Ollie Henry kicked?
Yeah,
Not 41.
not enough. But the one thing that I did find, he's only had 6 since round 7, Grind Myers, so I did have a look at him. The actual shining light on how shit Geelong are going is that in this run of outs, these are the teams that they've lost to, other ones, but how are the Giants going? Shit. How are the Suns going? Shit. How are Port going? Shit. How are Melbourne going? They're 4 of the losses in that run at the moment.
I called this a long way out.
Yeah, he did.
You laughed at me.
Yeah, when
Laughed at me.
7-0.
Tell you what, I've been right about a lot of stuff this year.
Oh, man, can someone audit some of Rhino's calls for us?
I didn't say I haven't been wrong about
Actually,
a lot.
no need. We ordered ourselves.
I've been either really good or really bad.
We do audit ourselves. And the one that I have put under the spotlight is Jeremy Cameron.
Hold on a minute. It's Tomahawk, mate.
Tomahawk, mate.
I know you
heard
don't
his
want
foot.
to
He's
do
an
it.
old
It all
man.
turned to shit when Jeremy Cameron went up the ground and had 25 touches and let every forward play
Mate.
with an extra key defender in the back line.
Zave, I know you don't want to have this discussion, but a year ago I said, "Is this it? Is this it for Tom?" And you
Yeah, and then he kicked
both
like-
yelled
kicked
at
like
me,
80.
and he didn't kick 80. You both yelled at me, and all I said was, "You don't want to play the one extra year too long, because if you end up on top, it's great.
but I also-
everyone's
He
stoked with that.
started well.
But this
He
year
couldn't-
has just been a disaster.
He couldn't retire last year. He kicked
Why not though?
Because he was like 10 games from 350, 10 games from the club record.
Does any of that matter? To
You-
him?
you-
It does to
talking about
Joel.
getting
It
ja-
does to Joel when he got toppled by him. I think you're out of order, and I did
I'm
hear.
not out of order.
No, you're not. You just spoke about Taylor Walker.
No, he's
Could-
not- but then what-
Taylor Walker's
what's the
going
difference?
worse than Hawk.
Yeah, no, I retired him.
Yeah,
I retired
he
him
kicked
too.
70 last year. You can't retire on that stuff.
I just feel like sometimes you play that one year that's just too many, and it ends
Who's
up being,
leading the Coleman going into round 4?
Well, that was
Yeah.
10 rounds ago.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
but he
The team
had to go around. You couldn't.
Decayed around him.
And I heard, I was listening to Tom on the weekend, and he was, I subbed off. I was like, did you not watch the footy? His foot exploded.
Yeah.
And then I went to text you, calling you both dickheads, and I text Tom by accident. I was that razzed up in the car. I think touch wood we see him one more time.
Oh, yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hope so too.
I don't know. I I've texted him and whatnot.
Yeah.
He was more interested in me being at the pub on Saturday and whatnot. But it is.
Yeah.
It is. Hopefully, we see one more game.
And there's no reason to feel sad for him other than this is not the perfect way.
Oh no, correct.
He's had
Yeah.
an unbelievable
No,
career.
sorry, I'll reframe that because
It's sad that
is
if you go
those
out
that
like that.
Morabitos and those guys
Yeah.
who never get a good
Mate,
chance.
this guy
at
got
it,
every
finish
ounce
with-
out of it.
No, I agree with that. But it would be nice to see a thank you, goodbye, da da da.
100%.
Away.
You can't retire when you're kicking 8 on Zerk Thatcher.
You need to come back for a game against Port.
Because that's the test. If you could kick,
The Zerk Thatcher,
if
Thatcher
you could
test.
kick him on Zerk Thatcher, you could kick him
look,
on anyone.
I'm thinking about retiring. So I'm
You know?
going to call Port Adelaide. We'll get Brandon over for a session. See how you go.
Who's next?
He only played 20 games last year too, so it would have been 55.
Yeah, no, he's it. Next up is Fremantle.
Okay, that's me. Hold on, let me get back to my list. Okay, under the pump.
Have we got the
Need all this.
BCFing fun, Sting?
All right, Captain Tent over here. So you could be lazy and just go, oh, it's Nat 5 and Michael Walters, but let's be honest, those guys are in the twilight. Like, they're not the ones moving the needle at this point. They need a role, play. Whether or not they've earned their spot from here on out for next year, I don't know. It's tough to say. They're both contracted. The one I think, and we saw it yesterday, he was excellent yesterday, Sean Darcy. That was probably his best game of the year. And to be fair, he's now had a couple of weeks of actually playing football to warm into it. So he's the one under the spotlight because it's not so much the him and Jackson thing. Because I think I said last week, Jackson's full potential might be to be the main ruckman, but the team's full potential has both of them firing and Jackson in a different role to that. I just think Darcy yesterday, if he can do what he did yesterday for the rest of the season, they're a different team because he gives them a winner in that space, and then they can have Jackson potentially causing some chaos somewhere else.
Who have they got this week?
Sydney,
Yeah.
So
massive.
there's been 4 ruckmen in that run. Big Gorn, who
Yep.
big and
Yep.
whatnot.
Yeah.
Tim English ran him ragged. Wits, again, a big bustler.
Yep.
And now Grundy, who gets on this move and
So you would do
Jackson.
Jackson
When you do the
in
better
this
split.
scenario.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, it's going to be a good measuring stick. I think Wits suits Darcy just because
Yeah.
they're big,
Yeah.
they're both big
Yeah.
and,
And that's
and
why
pretty
I think
lumbersome.
yesterday Darcy did like 85%.
Correct. Whereas
because he's a
I
big
would
boy.
I'd be watching blowing up Sean Darcy this week, chasing Grundy around. He's not an unbelievable runner, but his second efforts and third
And
efforts
SCG small at ground.
are far
maybe.
better than Darcy. So you don't want him blowing up in the first quarter because he's trying to match Grundy's 30-odd disposals
Yeah.
he gets. I just find the last 4 weeks just the different types of ruckman. I'm interested to see how he goes against Grundy and the way his style of play
It's a
is.
tough matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, all round it's a tough matchup. What are your expectations for Fremantle this week?
Well, you need to know what the weather is in Sydney. Sydney's a shit
Sydney's been raining
Am I right in
every
saying
week.
that?
But Sydney's the best team, and the SCG is very hard to win. So you're really not thinking they can win, though, right?
I think they can win.
You think they can win?
Yeah.
Probability, what would you give it?
If they played 10 times, 303.
Really, that many?
Wow. Who's in the tent now,
Sydney
mate?
are
You're
on
not going to
fire.
win 3 times?
Sydney on fire.
Okay.
I remember Geelong.
Nah,
kicked
this
the
is
fir-
what he's. You
No,
know what he's
I
doing
remember
here.
Geelong kicked the first 7
no.
against them 2 weeks ago.
He's reverse tenting.
Yeah.
So you say they should
That
win.
doesn't sound. It's been a
I
long
said
time
they'd
since
win-
I reversed
I
tented.
said they're a 30% chance.
No,
They
no.
could have won
What-
3 out of 10.
What's the bookies having? The bookies would have them at $3.50 or $4 or
Let's have a
something,
look
wouldn't they?
at that. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
He's reverse tenting.
No, absolutely not. Because $4. So what are they saying? They win 2.5 in 10. Sorry.
All right, moving on to
Sorry, mate.
St Kilda.
The line's 26.5.
Yeah.
4.5 goals.
That sounds
We look at the odds.
St Kilda, that's me. Under the pump,
You gonna
or
bullet them?
under the spotlight. I'm not bulleting. I refuse to bullet. This one's actually pretty easy.
Do you know what, actually? I don't bullet too often, but I remember bulleting Hawthorn pretty hard.
You did just before they went on a
And
run.
it
Yeah.
spiked.
I think they heard it.
They heard I
Inspiring.
You know what I
can't deal
reckon?
with the shit
No,
anymore.
I reckon.
Club
I reckon
legends.
Sam Mitchell held a meeting and he played the audio.
Yeah.
This is a premiership player, and he is sick to death of what we are
A
producing.
non-contributor at the football club's had a gutful.
He's had enough. So St Kilda, this one's easy. I want you to try to guess who this is. 30 years old, 1 year left on his contract,
Mate, St Kilda. Yeah, okay.
constant knee issues over the course of his career, has played at another club, was drafted by
Jack
a
Steele.
third
Dan,
club.
Dan Hanbury's still there?
No, it's Brad Crouch.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure he's part of it going forward.
he's not.
He was
No.
dropped earlier in the year.
Yeah. And coincided with injury, yeah.
Then he had the knee, and then he's come back from the knee in the VFL, had 2 or 3 pretty good hitouts in the VFL, numbers-wise. I didn't see the
He's
games.
always going to have good numbers.
And then didn't get picked, and then now the knee is an issue again.
Is he out again, is he?
He's out again with the knee. It's not confirmed how bad it is, but this has just been a 0 year for Brad Crouch. Really bad. Awful.
We're funny
So
because it's the complete opposite to what Matt Crouch was doing.
Yeah.
Who's now done his shoulder or
Okay,
whatever.
so my question is, one, do you think he is there next year? And two, if not, would you pick him up if you're another club?
Yes, I would.
You would? Which
I
club?
would.
Well, North seem to be in the market for an experienced mid.
Yeah, North. I mean, if he was to put on a West Coast jumper with
Really?
bit of just experience, his numbers, just getting numbers. Yeah, I just an experienced player. I don't know
You'd take Brad Crouch on the
for
Eagles
nothing,
list.
for absolutely nothing, for
Yeah,
like
okay.
250,000 or whatever. That is.
I would only
I mean, he'd be on what would he be on at St Kilda, 750 or
probably
something.
a lot, yeah, because they had to pay to get him over.
Yeah,
I would say if I'm recruiting those sort of age bracket mids,
Adelaide.
I want someone who's an elite leader and tactician as well. I want someone who I can actually build my club with.
If
I'm not
you
saying
really-
Brad's not
yeah.
that,
No.
but
But if Port Adelaide think they're as good as what they think they are, they're pretty thin
Get a
through the
Crouch.
midfield.
Let's
I think
add
Brad
another
Crouch,
one.
Brad
Add
Crouch
another
could
one.
go through there, and maybe Rosie.
yeah, let's fill the mediocre train up a little bit more.
Yeah. North Melbourne. The actual game was great. Will Phillips, the new superstar tagger in the
Yeah.
I'm happy
competition,
for it.
clearly.
It's found a role.
I like it.
So I'm going to go. Well, I'll go with Zerha because he's had a good couple of weeks.
What wasn't pumped that Clarko didn't call 1-300 tag for a day because I did have some money on Clary to get a certain amount of disposals, and I threw that in the bin at the first centre bounce.
We recognised his error from the week before. Just left him on there.
Jeez,
God.
Clary just couldn't get near it, could he?
Can't move.
Yeah, but I got Zerha. So Cam Zerha has kicked 7 in the last 2 weeks. No, I don't think there's been any movement, has there, on the contract?
No.
Like, he's got 5 years in front of him
They
for North Melbourne. He's
Melbourne
sitting
have
on.
given him something, yeah.
Yeah.
So North Melbourne
North
have given
Melbourne.
him something, yeah.
So I mean, the question now is, can he keep this up? And then what do you elect? Do they just let him go and extract some value from him? Free agent, I believe.
Yeah, he would be, yeah.
So that, and there was talk earlier in the
They
year,
can't
Sydney.
let those experienced players go.
Are they going to do the Ben Mackay again?
What's
Hey,
the-
pick 2. Here we go.
Yeah.
Let's
no,
go again.
maybe let him go.
They're going to get those picks anyway. I just think you've got to. I think more important is they might pay him 10% more than what he's worth to keep him. I think they need to. I think they need. And I'm not a big Zerha man. I think we thought he was going to be a better version of what he is now.
There's elements of the stringer,
Yeah,
right?
There is.
On his day, like he was on the weekend, it can be like, here we go, get on my back,
He's going to
boys.
win.
Yeah.
I got this one, but he just doesn't do it often enough.
Yeah.
He
But
doesn't
it'd be
even do it as
interesting in a
often
good
as stringer.
side. Again, it's like he's been in a shit side for 10
Yeah.
years. Like, it'd be interesting to see what he looks like. He
Yeah,
could.
and I imagine that role in a bad side is very
Oh,
hard to play.
Yeah.
Like, very difficult. So,
So he's 26. He's 26. So he's still
time to go is now.
in that. If I was North Melbourne, pay him 10. Even if he's asking for something slightly silly, pay him. You've got money. They've got so much money. Taryn Thomas's money is still on their books. That's
True.
gone.
True.
Like they've got cash everywhere. I just think you can't lose LDU. You can't lose Zerha. You can't lose Larky. And there's probably one or two others, and then get those kids going, which they've like Wardlaw and those guys are starting to really
get
go.
going.
Yeah.
And they've still got to add, well, next year's number 1 pick.
Correct.
And then the number 2 and number 4 from last year
Do you
come
know-
back in as well.
Do you know
Yeah.
what's crazy? Wardlaw is now starting to shape as when he wins the Rising Star, you're going to be like, no, it's fair.
Yeah.
Like, we thought it was going to be like here we go, consolation
Yeah.
prize. No
He's a
Harley,
nice
no
player.
Sam Darcy.
Nice player.
He
But
plays
he's gonna
like
be a
he's 30
deserved
years
winner.
old already.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Don't want to talk about that. When that injury happened, I think a few of us got back on Wardlaw
Oh, yeah.
to win the Rising Star, just because his price was back to where it was at the start of the season. But there's that risk with Wardlaw. He slightly missed times a bump,
I know,
hit
so-
someone in the head.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
there's
It's
that.
a bit of the Zach Butters about
It
it.
is.
Yeah.
There's still that accidental suspension lingering in the background, so it still could be that Rising Star. We go, ugh.
Fourth now.
Yeah.
It's the fourth best.
Western Bulldogs.
I thought that might be coming. Well, there's 2 players you can put under the spotlight here in terms of their future at the club. Both of them have multiple years left on their contract. So there's Caleb Daniel, who has had a really tortured season, cannot get in the team. When he has, he's been sub.
I think his
Clearly-
height and speed have got
well,
him now.
there's 2 years left on the deal. Another 2 years.
There'll be a market for
He
Caleb
can't be at the
Daniel.
Bulldogs next year.
No.
No, he won't be.
Because this isn't going to get better. You know what I mean? He's not
Yeah.
going to suddenly be back in the team and
Yeah.
playing some new role.
Does it say what his contract's worth roughly?
No.
But
And
he was
then-
sort of all
700,000.
Yeah, he was
a year
all
as a forward.
Australian level.
And then Jack McRae's the other one. He's got 3 years left.
Oh, really?
3.
How old's Jack McRae?
He's got 3 years
And this
left.
is where there'll be like, and it's back-ended because when they were, and it's going to be worth 1.5.
So someone's going to have to take on definitely Caleb and probably McRae, right?
I think, I don't know what he signed a 5-year until the end of 2027. That's
Yeah.
outrageous.
Wow.
I think that contract's unmovable.
The McRae one.
And I think Caleb Daniel would be a nice little pickup for someone, I don't know, maybe like the Giants or something that have got the big key pillars, a little help for Whitfield, kicks it nicely.
Just a little icing on the cake.
Yeah.
A little icing on the cake.
Probably the
What about someone like the Gold Coast who could just use some more professionals?
I just think that's just another Gold Coast.
And they're looking at if they're looking at Rioli for a halfback flank, you can't.
What about McRae to North?
He's so slow, mate. Like I was last year, I was like, it's just.
So what do you reckon? He's just done then?
Well,
He just
What's
kind
he
of
going to
plays
do for 3 years? He's just going to sit on
Spend
their
some
list?
cash.
plays 10 games a year.
yeah, no, I think he's. Is there? I tell you where it could go, is that Collingwood have really particular midfield positions.
He plays the Tom Mitchell
The hunter,
spot?
the hunter role.
Yeah, okay.
Hunt the footy.
Okay. So Mitchell's we're coming to a close.
That's about the only
Actually, would
spot.
Caleb Daniel be pretty nice at the Pies as well, wouldn't he?
I don't even get. You wouldn't get a game there.
You reckon?
I think if the role's right, they both have something in the tank,
Yeah.
but it has to be the right role. It's getting pretty slim. Yeah.
Maybe McRae towards a. I don't even know. Leave me out of
It's
it.
a long time left.
Leave me alone.
3 years.
Melbourne. So just before we get to I have Melbourne, right? Yeah,
Is this the last
it's on my
team?
list.
Must be.
No, we've got 2 more after this.
Jesus.
So I'll get to the player of note, but firstly the Stephen May thing. Am I alone in thinking it just got a little bit like there's a real fervour sort of built around it. So it was fine. He played for free kick.
Yeah, but I think people getting suspended at the moment. It's becoming.
It became a major thing. Yeah, and it's
But
probably
like-
a Stephen May.
But
percentage
you've
on it
grabbed
too.
Do you think there's a bit of Stephen May?
Yeah, I think so.
People don't love Stephen May in the media. Do you think that's what it is?
I think it's just like Stephen May rates as a like I've done something.
Oh,
bad kind of thing.
the hit the clicks.
Yeah.
Because he said that stuff about Collingwood.
He said this about Collingwood. He's punched teammates in the
Yeah.
face. He's been punched in the face by
Verity.
teammates.
He clicks on the Verity.
Oh, I think it's a News Corp.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, but I do think that a lot of people are pissed off with the tackle
Yeah, it was.
suspensions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you finally see a clear example of someone grabbing their head when it hasn't hit the ground,
Yeah.
I don't think it mattered too much who it was. It was always going to get
But- and then
highlighted.
you
We
can
don't
get
want that
suspended,
in
right?
our game. We've
Yeah.
seen it in soccer for decades, and anyone who isn't like a full-blown soccer nuffy and watches it and goes, see, this is why I don't like this
Yeah.
game.
Oh, you get
When
up
you
and
see
like
it,
it,
you're
they're
like,
good.
just get, and suddenly they're all fine as soon as they get the free kick. We don't want that. That's not our game. We've never had it in the game.
Yeah.
So let's not do it. And like the pile on to Stephen May,
I feel
he
like
just
you'd
happened
be
to be the guy.
you're getting shamed out of
I
it.
think you're right though. I think there's a Stephen May tax.
I think there's Stephen May tax.
100% there is, but there's also a tax because he is a key defender, big, strong boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plays it
Throws
tough,
around.
and then does that. and
If
you
Trent
go, well, hang
Rivers
on.
did it, it wouldn't be. No one would care.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which is
yeah.
what tells you where Melbourne are at. That people are getting excited
I'll
about
tell you,
Trent Rivers in the
you who
midfield.
the player that would get
I like
absolutely
Trent Rivers.
slaughtered.
He's
if he
fine,
did
but
it.
it's like-
He's fine, yeah.
Okay,
WA.
Imagine if Nick Dacos did it.
Oh, through his head.
Oh, it'd be absolute. He would be smashed by people.
People say he does.
The bloke who was number 1 for clearances, number 1 for contested football, going pretty well at the stuff he's getting
Throw it
battered
around.
around. But if Nick Dacos did, it'd be like, oh, he's been doing it all his life.
And now on Clayton Oliver, that was
Well, you
putrid.
thought McRae was hard to move.
Yeah, this 6 years remaining on his contract was like $1 million a year.
6 more years.
Six
I
more
think it's
years.
6 more years.
Oh, this might be the
2030,
first.
he comes out.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
god.
this
Yeah.
might be the 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
6
so
years.
bad.
Someone said
At $1 million a year.
I was listening to something yesterday, and they said if a club came to you and offered you pick 5 and pick 20, would you do it? I was like, I'm taking pick 20.
Yeah. You're
Don't
going
worry
to have to
about
pay
pick 5. I'm taking 20.
Or you say, look,
Jesus.
20's overs.
free
It's-
transfer, and you have to still pay some of that because we're not paying that.
The worst thing that
Yeah.
could have happened to him too is the Petrarca injury because
Yeah,
everything's
standalone
exposed
now.
now.
Yeah.
Like, because they're right. If you just go and shut him down, that's it.
Oh, that is it.
Melbourne's probably going to
Bad.
miss the 8. Do we think that now?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
These are the last two, so both me, GWS.
So just before we could
GWS is the one I forgot I
how
had.
good was
Hold on, what do
Archie
you
on
got?
Fritch?
Huh?
How good was little Archer?
Archer game of life.
Very good.
He's been brilliant the last few weeks
Dave,
playing on those small
we're
forwards.
about to see something special here.
I didn't know I had
It's
to.
a Viber meter.
Because our man didn't have GWS on his list.
It's the Viber meter. What do you got for
Well,
us?
you know, I'm gonna.
Actually,
well,
he's going to get what he wrote for Geelong and see if he can
gonna
just
try to pivot it?
curveball
well, no,
it into that.
It was all about Tom Hawkins. No one's done their
Oh,
foot.
right.
There's no 35-year-olds doing their foot in this team.
No, I will give you
Tom Green.
Hawkins.
I'll do Tom Green.
So
Tom,
just
so
quick-
it's got
I'll-
Tom
I'll
and Tom.
I'll give you Tom Hawkins really quickly. Spoke to him. It mightn't be complete doom and gloom, but he's obviously on crutches and whatnot.
Yeah, he's a
And
big
There's
man.
no decision made. So I was joking around earlier, but that's what I've been told.
He's had to bring in help on the farm. We'll do Tom Green, just like
he's
Kenny gets
the-
to the Brownlow level.
gotcha.
He's back. He had another very big game.
He was
after
very
a
good on the
slow
weekend.
slow start to the year.
Yep.
So, right, hot start to the year, then slowed.
Yeah.
And now he's back. Can he
Didn't
maintain?
slow, just wasn't. And I think a lot of people
Wasn't
look at,
dominant.
look at
Yeah.
fantasy.
But
how
we want him
he's
to be.
going,
We
yeah.
want him to be dominant.
Yeah.
He's capable of being dominant.
What
Every
about
week.
a little buy story? Have you been following? Tom Green is the best
Talent.
player, media talent by daylight.
Yep.
Did you see the back and forth with the young Giants?
The social Jacob Gaynor.
Yeah, did you see the back and forth about the swimming?
No.
Oh, this is brilliant. So Tom Green, big athlete, a little bit smug. Jacob's a smaller sort of guy.
Yeah, little dude. Yeah.
I think Tom Green was sort of saying, I could beat you at any sport you want. And he saw it as his moment to flex.
Yeah.
He's like, I'd beat you at swimming. And Green's like, swimming? You name the distance we're swimming. So this is all over the socials.
now-
They've gone head to head. He has to get a tattoo Tom Green on his chest.
Who Jacob does.
Yeah, if Tom Green beats him over 50.
Huh.
But I love, he was so confident sitting there looking at Tom Green like, I'll beat you in swimming. Like he must be...
Must
He
be a
must
good
be heading
swimmer.
to Paris or something, but there's a tattoo on the line of Tom Green across his
And so
chest.
what does Tom have to get?
Tom's like, I'm not getting a tattoo, but I've got cash. So and Jay was like, great. I've got plenty of body space for tattoos, but I've got no cash. So I'll play the cash. But they're going to do a big race over 50 metres. And the bit that made me more nervous for my boy was when he said, it was a butterfly or freestyle. And you saw Tom Green's face go, oh, because only the real swimmers can do butterfly.
Butterfly is reserved for
just had
actual
to
swimmers.
So when he threw that as an option, I
We
was
all,
like,
we all pretended we could do butterfly. We just throw our arms out. But that's the real deal.
I look at like this will be really funny to watch it because I'm certain that the Giants will, if they don't have I'm sure they got a pool, but like they will do that as an event.
Oh, it'd be massive.
It'd be huge.
It will be massive.
Yeah, that was good. That was enjoyable.
That's Tom
very
Green
good.
coming up in two. So Tom Green in the spotlight for two respects then.
Yeah, yes.
And then we'll wrap it up on Gold Coast. Came here yesterday. Well, that was just a bit of a boring game. Was it? Am I right? It was just didn't have any huge peaks.
I thought it had moments. I thought the Gold Coast.
No, there's no peaks.
Yeah, Tracy had a couple of peaks.
So is he going to be in trouble for that tackle
I hope not.
when he hurt his shoulder? I think if he hadn't hurt his shoulder,
Yes, look
I think it'd be more highlighted. But he grabbed the shoulder and everyone was like,
So that's the trick. Pretend you're hurt.
Oh,
yeah, we've all hurt each
Don't
other.
worry about it, Stephen.
You grab your head and
Yeah,
run
yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah. Everybody hurt. Everybody's hurt.
So I've kind of got two people I'm looking at, and one of them had a great day numbers wise, but probably not huge, as big an impact he could have. That's Took Miller.
Oh
Took
my
Miller?
God, he could not kick a drop punt to
No,
save his
so
life.
33 and yesterday. But yeah, I don't. Would
I
you
made
rather have Sam Flanders in that spot?
100%. I
Yeah.
made the call in the box yesterday. When it's not your day, you got to work it out. And Took Miller need to handball and just find his teammates by
Yeah.
hand because it was turnover. I looked at it and just thought you're in the category of Jack Steele and those guys. I know he's a better runner
Can
than
get
those
it
guys,
30
but
times, but what do they do?
or if you're not getting that, where's he going to go?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's a winger, and then you're out. I don't know. But yesterday it was.
Don't know if he's got the pace.
It was a slaughter job yesterday with
Mm.
the footy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the one. And when there's someone like Sam Flanders doing
Fla-
some of his work in congestion,
Flanders is a bit wasted. So Flanders came in the last quarter, and by the 10-minute mark,
Yeah.
it had 4 clearances and 9 disposals. Like he was revving.
I think we might see more Flanders in the middle now that
I think that
Will
was clear.
Power's back as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So he can play that halfback role pretty well.
The centre bounce in the last quarter, you could tell that Dimmers had a guffle. No Noah Anderson.
Yep.
No
Yeah.
Took Miller. It was Rowell, Flanders, and young guy.
Graham.
Graham.
Will Graham.
Yeah.
was in there as well. And I was like, well, that's a sign that Dimmers had a guffle of what the
Yeah.
midfield's done today.
Yeah.
Tim is discovering working for a team that travels every other week at the moment, isn't he?
But I was off Gold Coast from the start. They haven't won 10 games in a year.
Their fixture was very doable,
Well,
though.
they win at home, they lose away. Like they've got nothing exciting.
Yeah.
And the other one I had down was Jack Lukosius. Sort of what happens to him at the end of the season will be interesting. There'll be
Is he
offers.
out of contract?
I think he is, yeah.
Are we sure about that? I'm not sure
I'm
about
not sure
that.
about that.
Anyway,
I thought it was.
that's one. Nope.
Right, he's
Let me
got
have
an
a
out
look.
of contract
Let me have
vibe.
a look, actually.
Definitely got a vibe about him that he's out of contract. All right, that was the 2-minute warning out of round, I'm going to say 15. Am I right?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Round 15.
So Lukosius has 2004, 2005, 2006 remaining.
Why are we all talking about him?
Don't know, mate.
Anyway, see what happens. Come back tomorrow for the mailbag. We'll catch you then.